Hi, this is Randy Randall of No Age and host of the podcast Hyphenate with Randy Randall. I want to welcome our newest sponsor of the show, DistroKid. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. Hyphenate listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate. Again, that's distrokid.com/VIP/HYPHENATE. Go get your music streaming everywhere now. We'd like to thank our sponsor, iZotope, the absolute leaders in intuitively designed plugins for audio restoration, mixing, and mastering. At iZotope.com, you'll find a plethora of tools and suites that will enhance your audio production, whether it's voice, video, podcast, or a full production recording session. Check out the industry-standard audio repair tool, RX11, or the multi-tool mixer plugin, Neutron 5, or the powerful Ozone 11 mastering suite, plus tons more. Go to iZotope.com and use the code FRET10 at checkout for 10% off. That's FRET10 to get 10% off at checkout. And again, the website is iZotope.com, iZotope.com. Hello, welcome to Hyphenate Halftime. This is your show for Monday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. How are you doing, my friend, Aaron Farley?
I'm good. How are you?
I was going to call you Josh Erkman. We're here to talk about Director Josh Erkman's interview last week.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved
it. Yeah.
I'd never met Josh.
Oh, really? Okay.
But
yeah.
I feel like
we're. Time.
I feel like we probably were in a lot of the same rooms and shows and his places.
We didn't even get into his band Lamps. I mean, a little bit. I guess we talked about it, but that's where I first met him. Yeah, he's a drummer in an awesome band, or was for years.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah, we're there to promote his new movie, A Desert, which everyone should go out and see. It's available everywhere, video on demand.
As of yesterday, right?
Yes.
Or as of
I timed it.
It should have been or something.
It should have been the day of. Oh, you're. Wait a second. Your microphone's freaking out.
Is it again?
Yeah. But I have our soundboard loaded up here. So let's see here. I have. Okay, here we go. Ha.
Oh, great!
I loaded up. I couldn't find other soundboards, but I took sounds of us from the last couple things.
Oh no!
And so there's lots of good ones. Here we go.
Piss off, Jamie Lee Curtis. Check. Wow, you really got into it.
Yeah, I thought this would be fun.
I swear to God, I can eat this thing. Wow. So you don't even need me anymore.
Sounds like us. Yeah, you could always just have us.
You're always going to be cute, but you'll never win. All right, I'm down for having my own soundboard. Those are good. I don't even know where those are coming from, and the context is lost, and I love it.
It doesn't even matter. Yeah, there's this one also.
These things don't just happen.
Oh, there we go.
They don't. I tried to do it to myself too. So. Yeah, that's what we have so far. If anybody wants to tell us other sound clips or wants to even send us sound clips, that'd be even better. You could send us sound clips to hyphenatehalftime@gmail.com, or you can find us on the socials. I'm at Randy S. Randall on Instagram, and you are at Aaron Farley on the Instagrams as well. So please send us clips either from our show, from yourself, from movies, from whatever we can do. I'll build the soundboard here.
Yeah, build us a soundboard. Send it over.
Send clips. Because until then, we'll just celebrate the ones we have already.
Piss off, Jamie Lee Curtis. Check. God, we're going to have to talk about Jamie Lee Curtis more often.
I know. What if Jamie Lee Curtis was in Josh's next film?
I mean, I haven't seen it yet, so it's possible.
It could be, right? Well, I do know David Yao from the band The Jesus Lizard is in A Desert, the newest Joshua Erkman film. You know, what do we call it? Cinema.
Yeah. I mean, I think actually him talking about working with Yao and talking about how, like, what a sweet guy he is and all of that. reminded me to listen to the Jesus Lizard all day today.
Oh, good.
So yeah, so I was listening to a random selection of. I put my Spotify on random Jesus Lizard.
Oh,
and,
how fun
so
is
I was
that?
getting stuff from all the records, and their new song is amazing.
Yeah, the new record was amazing.
So amazing.
Yeah, this is a good time to talk about it. I went last night to see the Jesus Lizard play live at the Fonda. And
you
it was
did?
Amazing. Yeah, and they played about 5 or 6 new songs, and they all sounded great. They're promoting the new record.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I was just looking, and are they not playing like in a week or two somewhere else in LA?
I don't
or
know.
Was I on the wrong?
I saw the only LA show I saw was last night.
I still have never seen them.
Oh my God, that's incredible. I highly recommend it. If
yeah,
you have the opportunity to do it. Yeah, sorry I didn't drag you down the hill for last night's show, but it was raining.
I wouldn't have been able to go last night anyway. Yeah. But that's amazing. I do need to see them, and I need to stay more in touch with a couple. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 bands that I really need to see. Like I missed all the Slint reunion shows.
Oh, okay.
But I know that it seems like they go out every couple of years now. So hopefully they'll do another one.
Yeah. Hopefully they're still in rotation. It's funny you bring that up because I went last night with my friend Kevin, who I grew up with, and he was reminding me that I had taken him to this like secret birthday party kind of show / screening thing at Brain Dead Studios a couple of years ago, and David Yao played with Britt and David Pajo from Slint. So it was so strange.
Just randomly?
It was. Or
they had songs, or
it was for Lance Bangs, the filmmaker. He's done this kind of birthday screenings show thing at this old silent movie theater, and he had I think called in some favors or asked some friends to come in and play some songs. So it was funny to see kind of a mashup of Slint playing Jesus Lizard songs with David Yao singing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was really fun. Ugh. And I think Karen and Nick from the AAS got up and played when Britt was on drums. I think they played some AAS songs, maybe a cover.
That's awesome.
Dean and I did this, gosh, I don't know, it was 15 years ago now, with Bradford and from Deer Hunter and Watt from Minutemen Firehose et al. And that was a funny one. Yeah, it was one of those funny phone calls you get or emails like, hey, would you guys want to play some songs? And he gave us like a list of cover songs to play. And so it was fun to see kind of like Bradford sing and play guitar, and then Watt on bass, and me and Dean, guitar and bass, or guitar and drums. So it was cool.
Wow.
It was very
that's
LA
awesome.
moment, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have
I forget about these things sometimes. I'm like, right, yeah, that's right, we did that.
Well, I do feel like I feel like Josh brought some of that stuff up too when he would tell some of these stories about being a PA or all this stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, very LA. It was very, it was very Los Angeles 2008 or 2006 or whatever.
Yes.
Because I feel like these stories pop out like when you and I are talking. I mean, what?
Like this.
Piss off Jamie Lee Curtis. Yes. I mean, honestly,
these are very LA things to happen.
Yeah. If we really jogged our memory, probably one of us was in a room with Jamie Lee Curtis at one point in the last 20 years.
And like I always say, these things don't just happen.
Yeah, this is true.
Only in LA.
Actually, they actually do. In LA, they actually do just happen.
Yeah, maybe that can be a segment in these halftime shows, like just the only in LA stories.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, and I was going to say even about Yao, again, another LA, like you said, when you guys were talking and he just kind of had maybe just moved to LA and was just around. Maybe he's bartending at Cha Cha. Was he bartending at Cha Cha?
Yes.
Yeah. And then, and you'd walk in and you're like, is David Yao serving drinks at Cha Cha? Huh. Okay.
Sure.
And then I think that for a professional work, he actually did 3D modeling. Like he was
Himself, he was like a nude model.
No, he's like a Photoshop master and did like advertising for like vodka campaigns and stuff.
That's
and
crazy.
Would build 3D modeling. Like, so I don't know.
I've heard tale of these jobs,
of these things.
Yeah.
And and then he played with our friends in Quee
exactly
for a while.
I have an interview with Matt Kronk from Quee in the can. I think I'm waiting on his tour dates to come up. So
Matt,
to release it
I love Matt.
In a couple of weeks. I think it's coming up.
I love Matt.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah.
he's
fun.
like the most
we could save those Quee stories for then.
Original,
yeah.
Like, dude, I love Matt. And every time I could not see Matt for like 10 years and you'd see him and you're like, what's up? It's like the best. He's just so stoked on like, dude,
you're right back in it,
talking about everything. And yeah. And he's always got so much insanely weird, great music that he's playing and bands. And I don't know, it was the best. But yeah, we got to play with Quee a couple times with Yao. Actually
cool.
in at the Casbah in San Diego. We played
wow.
with Quee and Yao, and I think Yao was getting sick in the garbage can before the show even started. And Earthless, we got to play with Earthless as well as them.
That's a great lineup.
Dude, I was just sitting there going, how did we I mean, I guess like sonically
syndrome, yeah.
Sonically it made sense. Like we were loud enough to drive everybody out of the room. But you're still sitting there going like, wow, that's Mario Rubacabra. Just like, wow, okay. That's amazing. We're playing with him, and it's Yao and Quee. Okay, awesome. This rules. We'll just get done and then we'll sit down and watch these guys.
yeah. We'll just enjoy being in the room.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great.
It's funny. Yeah, the Mario interview I had set up and scheduled, like I think within like the first few weeks of doing the podcast when we just started it, but he had requested like an evening time, and I did not have my act together. I was still on dad time, where I would forget, like after 6 o'clock, my brain would just shut off, and then the next morning I woke up to a series of texts like, "What the fuck? Like, we were supposed to record? What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh wait, that was at 9 o'clock. Sorry, I went straight to bed. I was too tired. I totally messed it up." So I owe him another round of bugging him next time he's home to see if I can get him rescheduled now 2 years later.
He's a busy guy, right?
Yes.
Like I follow him, and he's in like, what band is he playing in now?
I don't know.
He's in
10 different
I don't remember.
bands. Yeah, Rocket from the Crypt.
Oh my god,
Click Attack Atawi, I think is doing.
They're back. I know. Did you? I wanted to go see one of those, and then I realized how far it would be to drive, and I got tired.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. So who's on your list of bands to see? You said you had a list of bands you wanted to see, or you have to.
I wanted to see Unwound again.
Yeah,
although I did see Unwound in the 90s in Portland once. I have some photos of them playing at the Crystal Ballroom.
Oh, that's great.
Which was amazing back then. And what are the other ones? I got to put it.
Slint.
Put it
You said
Slint,
Jesus
Lizard. I mean, that's kind of there was one other. It'll pop into my head. There's one other, and it was like a reunion ish of like, oh yeah, I need to see that band. I never saw them. But but Jesus Lizard is probably the top of that list. Yeah. So I need that to happen.
Yeah, Unwound with Jared from Big Business and Carter.
Yeah.
has something scheduled in LA soon.
Do they?
So if you consult your local concert guide, I know.
Okay.
They're touring.
Well, keep me in your thoughts and prayers if you see that if you see the show. Hit me up. Because I will forget to look.
We were supposed to
up.
open one of these Unwound shows on the first reunion-y kind of thing, or whatever version of that. But it came up. We were booked. I don't think this is telling too many schools telling tales out of school. But there was a thing that happens now in modern concert promoting and going that I guess, or at least this was right after the pandemic. Maybe they've nipped it in the bud. But there was like robot scalpers would just buy up a show and so they would add another show because they thought, okay, well, that's sold out in like 5 seconds. So they added another show and then that sold out in like 5 seconds. So then they added a third show. And so this, I think, was just happening when shows would get announced, like on an Unwound reunion for some reason. All of these ticket scalper bots would just buy up all the tickets. But what they found out was that come the day of, they would just unload. They were hoping they could, sell the tickets for twice as much or whatever. It was like an algorithmic play. Then they would list them on their site, their bootleg sites. And then if it didn't sell, then they would just dump all the tickets for like half price. It was, again, not even a person. It was just some kind of computer program that was designed to do this. That somebody had created a program that would just do this.
Yeah.
And so I think that tour, that reunion tour, I think was well attended, but it wasn't like robot well attended.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to open up, I think the third show they put on in San Francisco. We received an offer like, oh, that'd be really fun. It'd be fun to see those guys and play with them.
Yeah.
And then it was like the day before, like, oh, actually we realized those first two shows weren't sold out, and there were like tickets on sale for like $10 a day of. So it's bad vibes for the venue and everything. But in my mind, I'm like, well, they sold the tickets. Like the band's getting paid, the venue's getting paid, but I guess the venue doesn't make the alcohol sales and the room's only half full. They can't make their money back and all that stuff. Yeah. There's all the ancillary sort of things that they want with the sold out show to do. And so that show got canceled, and it was a bummer. That is a bummer. It's like to play that stuff, but yeah. Well, it's a weird world we live in, man. It is some back room deals, but just be wary if your favorite band is coming to town, but it says it's sold out. The chances are a robot is holding onto those tickets on some weird aftermarket site in the day of, and they'll probably dump them for pennies on the dollar. Freaking robots! I know, right? This is the world we live in. Of all the things to worry about. This is like, why this? Yeah, I know. Really, they're like, oh, robots. Like, I just remember watching the Jetsons, and you have like Rosie the robot, and you're like, oh, she's so helpful, and she like kind of keeps the family together, and she keeps everybody from fighting, and she's kind of the middle. She's also like really tough, and and then now you're like, no, robots are just going to buy all your concert tickets and try to sell them to you for twice as much. That's what robots are going to do. And they're not even going to be real robots. They're just going to be AI, and it's just going to be a computer program that pretends it's real. And then it's going to take over the government one day, and then we'll all be okay. That's fine. First they came for the ticket sales. Oh Lord. Then sorry. Yeah. Then they came for NPR and PBS. Yeah. Then they came for Big Bird. Yeah. And then they came for your tax stubs. We're what, just a little over 100 days. No big deal. Nothing to worry about. It's nothing to worry about here. It's only that people. I mean, I had a friend from Australia just tell me that they canceled their tickets to come here for like a vacation because they didn't want to get sent to an El Salvadorian prison. With no joke. They were like, I don't want to go across that border and have them like look at my phone, and maybe I said something that supported the Palestinians, and I'm going to be put in a holding cell somewhere. And I'm like, why bother? Don't come here. It's good. Like, please boycott for a while, and make it hard for them to make these stupid decisions of like, please. It's insane. Help us get these people out of here. I saw a story that, big tourism places are just dying because there's no tourists. Yeah. People don't want to come to do big touristy things. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not worth it. Not now while this is going on. Just save their dollars. And also then just the threat of the economic collapse with tariffs and all these other things. You know what I mean? Even if it's not for fear of deportation, it's just fear of financial, security or instability in the future. Getting stuck here. Spend all your money on a vacation. But I'd say everything went well. It's also just like, I'm not going to spend now the time really to pull the trigger on a big, plane ticket, hotel package. Oh, right. It's like, because who knows what could happen next. The stock market like a month from now could just crash again and just wipe everything out, or all jobs are eliminated. And, and then on top of that, any kind of immigration or flights crashing out of the sky or any of the just throw a dartboard at any of the news in the last 3 months and go, that's all a good reason to just stay home. Thanks. Yeah, totally. Like any of those things that could potentially come up, you're like, usually there's like one or two of those things, and now it's like, no, that's all of them.
Every single thing. If you click it and like, no, guys, let's look. The economy is strong. Like, okay, for who? For
Yeah. No.
if it's strong for the people at the top, but not everyone else, it's actually not very strong. It will topple very quickly.
Yeah.
But we keep podcasting.
See, to be determined. But I remember in the first term, we had booked a Yosemite weekend in like 2016, 2017, somewhere in there, and it was crazy because you have to book those like almost a year out to get reservations because it's a small limited amount of spaces. And so we'd booked it, and then all of this crazy stuff. And I remember one of the big threats at the time, but didn't go further. I don't think the regime was as organized as they are this time around. They had those 4 years to really just line everything up, line up all the shots, and just sign all the orders. But we were going to Yosemite, and there was a news crew out front, and they were just interviewing people about what they thought about Trump and all these things. And we were on camera, and the writer was tiny. I don't know, he was whatever, 5 years old, 6 years old, and then we were on. Yeah, it was one of those funny moments. You're like, can we interview? It was for a local San Francisco or Northern California news site, and I was like, oh god, just that feeling of like, yeah, are there going to be oil drilling in Yosemite? Maybe.
Yeah,
just clear cutting all the forest down. Like, all right, those were so it seemed far fetched, yet at the same time, like this is what was now the fears that were on the table. And now this time around, it's just like, okay,
yeah,
here's now it is coming to fruition.
Well, and the craziest thing is you have to have the people that are willing to do all the stuff as well. Like you have to, like to take over the government or whatever, if like a military coup, you also have to have the people in the military to actually agree to go along with it. And I'm interested to see, with all of the lack of support, or whatever that they're saying that he has, but I mean, who knows, but
right.
That, I think once like tax returns and Social Security, if those get screwed up for like a couple months, I think you're going to see a lot of people really angry.
Right.
But you have to have all the people that are willing to do all the logging. Like you have to have all the people that
you can say it's open for logging, but yeah, are these? But again, if the economy's bad enough and if everything's desperate and dire enough, you know what I mean, you offer somebody a crumb, some way forward for financial prosperity. You know what I mean? It's that scary sort of feeling of like, well, okay.
But that's all if you can't like if the downtrodden aren't able to get enough support from other people at the top to change things.
Sure.
Then,
yeah. I mean, the one thing I saw about the
government
logging, I'm sure this is applicable to you, in the Southern California mountain regions, there was an open sort of call on like restricting or pulling all the restrictions of logging in these areas. But then I read the flip side opinion to that was it's actually really hard to go to these places. There aren't the roads. There's not an infrastructure to log.
There's no infrastructure.
And even the wood that's there isn't necessarily useful. The kind of wood that's needed to build houses with this lumber. You know what I mean? So there's fallacy.
It's horrible wood
that it's built upon for this threat to come in, but it's enough to catch the headlines and to try to, it's shock and awe and fear, these types of, mandates, or even the thing with PBS. I guess their response was, well, our budgets are approved by Congress, so you can write all the orders, but you're not actually passing legislature. You're not actually politicking in a way.
You're not doing anything.
That being said, pushing against the Supreme Court, this is, in theory, there's these checks and balances, but we've seen time and time again, that's stuff that was an assumed balance that just goes out the window, and everyone's falling in line. So how long? It
only works if there's actual enforcement. Like if there's not enforcement, then none of the rules then the rules and laws are just there as like politeness. Like you're supposed to follow these. And then when people go, well, I'm not going to follow that one. Like, well, you're supposed to.
If there's no budget to hire, you know what I mean, all of the people that, you know what I mean, to put on the front lines to be like, okay, well, here's the new law, here's what we're doing. It's like, but you're not paying the people, you're cutting the budgets So you'd have to create whole new industries of things in order to do this stuff. But again, it becomes a shock and awe whack-a-mole sort of thing. Like, okay, well, what's the crazy headline today? And everyone goes chase, like a dog chasing after an ambulance kind of feeling. Like, well, okay, you can't think straight. It becomes this kind of like psychic warfare that I've always, felt was, that's the one thing you do. You can try to control your own brain, but yet here we are.
Yeah.
How do you not talk about it?
Well, and I think it does show. I mean, hopefully it will show more people that that people that think they're libertarians or whatever, and like we shouldn't have these laws. Like I should be able to do whatever I want in my house and in my yard and whatever, and freedom. But then you notice that the way that these corporations work, this is how they work. Like when a corporation takes over another corporation, they go in and fire everybody, and they get it as low as possible because this is what investors want to see. Because they want to see
low overhead.
Because they want to see
profits.
The low overhead, high profits. And so they're like, okay, we can start from here. And then they rehire people back. And then half the time they rehire back the people that they fired already. And then they have all these things. But this is how it works, because you also don't have to, you're not the government. The government is not there to make a profit. The government is there to control everything around this group of people so that things work, hopefully.
Well,
right. But a corporation can just go
service versus a for-profit company, right? Yeah.
Right.
This is not really a profit related.
And a for-profit company is like a kingdom, and they're like little kingdoms that fight each other, right? Like Google and Apple are constantly fighting each other and kind of using each other's infrastructure, but also they want to destroy each other at the same time. They're like little kingdoms and they have all their stuff, but they can also just fire people and kick people out. Whereas with the government, I mean, you're not supposed to be able
protections and due process.
You're not supposed to be able to kick people out, but that's what jail is. They like kick people out of the system for a while and whatever. But you still have to take care of all these people because you have riots and you have all these other things, where in corporations, people just go, I'll just go to the other corporation because they're going to give me more money. And that doesn't really work for a government, because that is not a thing. Like the government is not a company. And so when they come in and try to treat it like a company, you just see how quickly it goes like, what are you doing? This is not a company. You can't just slash and burn infrastructure. Like this isn't like you also don't know how
Trump is has a great proven track record of running very successful, profitable businesses. He's never bankrupted or
a casino
ran a terrible business model. He knows what he's doing. If you were to choose the path and strategy of running the country as a company, as a for-profit company, could you pick a worse person to run that company? You know what I mean? So there's maybe a flaw in that. That might be version 3.0 of this whole experiment of actually getting somebody in there who, does that. But he wouldn't be the first though either. The large corporate, profiteer running businesses or running government agencies.
I do love when they ask him about things like the Declaration of Independence and stuff, and he really doesn't know what these things are. Like he has no idea. When they're asking him about the Declaration of Independence that they hung up in the office, and he's like, it's just such a special document it's about love and happiness and freedom. And they're like, no, it's about declaring your independence from England. This is not about love and happiness and freedom. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Wait, which thing did you read?
Thinking of Born on the 4th of July. You're thinking of right. Born in the USA. That's a different document. And that's a record.
But someday this will be different in one way or the other.
But it was fun seeing Jesus Lizard last night. The Yao went on a little a pretty nice, clear tirade of fuck Trump, yelling, and they got a great response from the crowd. So
I love it.
It was good.
I'd
But
vote for
they
Jesus
sounded
as
great. Yeah, vote for David
I'd
Yao.
vote for Yao.
Sure, Yao for president.
Yao for president. Let's go.
A Desert, the film by Josh Erkman, last week's guest, should be his his political
his slogan.
Slogans, yeah.
Well, tell me about what you know. Have you seen it yet?
I have not had a chance.
So
no,
I haven't either.
I know.
But
I know
what,
Josh. I know good people. I read reviews. That has a great Rotten Tomato score.
But you said that you had heard about things because you know some of the people that are in it. Tell me what you heard.
Oh well,
before.
no, how do I say this to protect the privacy of folks? Yao plays a private detective.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend who is a private detective who consulted with.
Okay.
Josh brought in a private detective to consult on things, investigator things, and how to what that would look like.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I've seen Josh's other music videos and things, and talked to them. I actually there's a funny Josh story we didn't even get into in the interview. There was somewhere mid-pandemic, where there was some kind of events happening. There, I think it was Vidiots put together a movie trivia night, and I was like, okay, that'd be fun to do. It's try to get out of the house. Yeah. So I tried to come up with like a movie heavy hitter thing, because again, I love film, but I'm not necessarily a scholar. Certainly not a historical film historian, but I know people. My old manager from Rocket Video has written four books, I think, on not Abbott and Costello, on the Laurel and Hardy.
Stooges?
Laurel and Hardy, yeah. So he's written books. He works for the Academy now as part of the film archivist.
Oh, wow.
Okay, this could be good.
Amazing.
And I brought him in. I brought my cousin, who was my sort of like Obi-Wan of film school. He lived with us for a while and taught me a lot about film. And then he's been making independent films and has attended the last 30 years of Sundance as a projectionist, and then as like exhibiting his own films. So he's the guy where it's like, oh yeah, this film, the most random film you've never heard of that was only released on one screen, by a new director. He's seen it and it can tell you the 10 different movies it's pulling from, all the references.
Oh, amazing.
So like, okay, cool. Got a historian, got a modern sort of lo-fi indie, like know-it-all, just probably sees, 4 films a week, and then Josh, and I knew Josh, has done lots of work, in his day job, for just mastering films and for DVD production. So he's watching films just as quality control and just as production side of the post-production side of stuff, and then has his own historical knowledge. So I put together Josh, a film historian, indie film story, and then me. I was kind of the knucklehead of the group, but I was like, okay, let's put it together. We can do this. We're going to go good. We got our asses kicked. We were destroyed. It wasn't even funny. It was the kind of thing where like, we are really bad at this game, you guys. What was going on?
Wow.
Like the Vidiots folks really just was it Vidiots or Alamo or one of these things. The other teams were really good.
Had they played the game before? Like they?
I think it may have been going on. So maybe that was it. This was our first and last time.
Like they knew a little bit of, like there was a little strategy or something, or
maybe it was like groups of 4, and and everyone looked how you would imagine they would look. It was kind of like various degrees of comic book guy from The Simpsons, mostly white men, bald, in their 40s to 50s with larger waists and sloppy sweats and flannel shirts.
That tracks.
And I was in there too. That was where I was. This was pure pandemic sweatpant mode, So we weren't going out there to meet girls. We were going out there to win a movie trivia contest. And it's the same. And oh man, we were creamed. It was really bad. Wow. It was comically bad. Like at some point we just had to laugh because we were like taking it serious, and they're just like, oh, we're so far behind. We're never going to make this up.
Like those guys, like they were on it.
Yeah,
just knew everything.
I don't know how you do it. You know what I mean? When you really get, again, only in LA. I need our soundboard. These things don't just happen. Yeah, there was a conspiracy. There was definitely a conspiracy. There's another
You're
one.
always going to be cute, but you'll never win.
That's it. That's the proper one.
That is what I feel
yes.
about you.
I looked very cute. I looked very cute that night, but I did not win. So I
not at movie
went home,
trivia.
I went home with my head held high. But this being said, I mean, I can't play trivia with anyone in my family or any of my other friend groups because it's, I really do well at it.
Yeah.
My wife for a long time teased me that I was the smartest guy on the plane. Do you ever remember when you'd fly on planes and they'd have the games in the back of the seats?
Yeah.
You could like challenge other people on the plane.
Yeah.
You remember that? I don't know if this still happens.
Totally.
But for a while there was these kind of social engagement challenges, and we went somewhere and I got into it, and I just was like ruling people on this Delta flight to New York or something. I don't know where we're going.
It's amazing. You get up every time and like cheer.
That's me. That's me. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's, I've done well in other venues, but I really just got schooled. So that was fun. Still, it was good. But it's good. It was good to just, know where you're at in the pecking order of nerds. Okay.
Listen, as long as you're in the pecking order of nerds for something, you're doing well.
Yes, right.
Like the worst
even
is
if
when
I'm
you're
way down on the bottom, even if you're like in the 100th bracket.
Yeah. As long as you can show up and you can talk about a little bit of something,
right?
You're good. Yeah. You're good. Like you've made it, I think.
It counts if you're number 99 on the 100 guitar players, and still you're in that. You made it in the 100.
You're still list. Top 100. There's a lot of guitar players. Yeah.
But that was fun. So that was Josh. Yeah, I feel like there's more stories, but again, I liked the feeling of like I never talked to him about USC. I had no idea we were like so close at school.
Well, that was what I was going to say is that first like after he got kind of done with the family part and the growing up part, then when you guys started like right before USC and started talking, I was like, you guys kind of had the same life in a small way.
No,
like
I think
USC,
so.
You both, it was like, I was working at a video store, and you're like, yeah,
I was working at a video store.
Yeah. And then when he was like, I don't know, it was like, do you know that Blockbuster across from the Vista? And like, you mean the most famous Blockbuster in Los Angeles? Yeah. That's the only one I ever went to when I was here, when I first moved here.
Yeah.
You have to go get a movie, and you go to the biggest Blockbuster in the world. I think it was massive.
Oh man, it was crazy. I mean, it was a different time. The video store rental days were different. Yeah. There was a couple good ones, but again, it just being LA, everything was so spread out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I worked at Rocket Video for I don't know about 5 years, going through college and then after college, and that was okay. It wasn't, you know what I mean? I think we had Eddie Brandt's Saturday Matinee up in the Valley. I'd recommend people, because the stuff we didn't have, you could kind of send people to where who might have it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vidiot's was out in Santa Monica then.
Yeah.
And then,
did they bring that back?
Recently? So Vidiot's is now a nonprofit, and it's in Eagle Rock. It's been there for a few years, and they have a big screening room. Like they took over what used to be like a church.
Oh, it actually happened.
Yeah, it's there. Oh yeah, it's there. We've been members. We went and saw a Super Troopers screening with the cast and crew.
Oh, amazing!
Doing a Q&A before. It was really fun. It was like
wow,
20-year anniversary of Super Troopers. But it's too far for us to go rent from. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine renting something.
Yeah.
And again,
like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to rent a movie.
Yeah, but yeah, also our amount of time of watching things. Like I have, traded watching Bluey, the 3 seasons of Bluey ad nauseum, rather than watch. I think I got into that with Josh too. That he's still fighting the good fight and watching
a movie a day. Crazy.
I wish.
Yeah,
I know. I lived a life like that. I was out there, but no. But it's all right. I know there's a day. I hold out hope when I'm old. If there's still movie theaters, when I'm in my 60s or 70s, go get those senior matinee prices. Let's go out and see everything.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah. Well, I used to love, because especially just working at so many places, Amoeba. So after Rocket Video, working at Amoeba and stuff, we could just take home, DVDs. It was again the age of DVDs and stuff. So you could really just go on a run. You know what I mean? And you knew what your schedule was, and you kind of were home. just lived like a vampire. And when you were home, just stay up till 4 a.m. watching movies.
Yeah, totally. Well, and I feel like even that experience of going out and looking for something you don't know you are trying to find yet,
yeah,
I think was something that we did often before the internet. Like it was like if you had to find something. I mean, one of the greatest things that I loved about moving to LA was that there was a store for everything. and I'd never lived in a place like that where I was like, oh God, I need some plastic thing for a photo shoot. Like, okay,
go to the plastic district. Yeah,
100%. And you'd call three. Yeah. You'd call 3 places, and one of them would have whatever you're looking for. And then if you couldn't find something, you'd just go down to Los Angeles Street, and you'd just go to all the stores and be like, I need this little. I'm looking for this little reflective thing. And then you'd go down and you'd find the store that has that stuff or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I feel like video stores were like that too. Like, I want to watch a movie. What movie do you want to watch? I don't know.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, that's
maybe
why,
something, maybe something fun. I'm thinking something fun tonight. Mm-hmm. And then you'd go to, Blockbuster, whatever was closest. And you'd go, like, you just walk and you just be there for like half an hour, 45 minutes, looking at stuff, going, I've seen this one. I could watch this one again. Okay, I'm going to hold on to this one. Yeah. And then you'd walk around and go, and then realize like, oh, I never saw the first version of this. And it was like a searching for things that you didn't know you wanted kind of vibe. And I feel like Amoeba is like that too, right? Like, unless you're looking for something specific, you just like, I have an hour to kill. I'm just going to go walk around Amoeba. And I'm not even like a record CD person, like that would like was really into collecting things or finding things. I would just walk around and like flip through jazz records.
Like, yes.
Yeah. And go through jazz records, and I'd go up to the DVDs and I'd come down and go listen. Like, I'm just going to go listen to a bunch of CDs for like an hour. Just go listen to records you never heard before.
You fall down a rabbit hole. You're like, something like this. What else is like this?
Yeah.
Like, oh, here, I'll take you over to the world section. It's called the Kalimba. Let's go down. Let's go. You got to listen to this. Well, it began, like you said, it was like the Nigerian funk scene, before these things were there. You'd have to find some random, National Geographic collection of folkways kind of things.
And you definitely can still, and the searching for things, obviously, on the internet is very extensive and can be very fun and can be weird. And I have to even say, like, as much as the streaming is like, I hope that at some point the streaming, digital, everything can at some point help artists more than it's just a like, well, whatever kind of situation.
Bootlegging all the tickets and fucking them over.
Yeah, the robots more than the robots. But I do have to say, whatever robot is running my algorithm on Spotify right now is hitting. So it's giving me these like, I'm like, do you want to listen to your Radiohead mix? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I look at it and I was like, huh.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's got Radiohead, and it's got this new band I like called Wombo, which I listen to a lot. It's got like kind of a weird deep cut from that band, and then it's got this Talking Heads song that's like a weird. And I was just listening to Talking Heads like a week and a half ago, so it like threw me a bone there. I was like, well, you might have listened to this a little while ago.
Check back in
this
here.
Kind of goes with this like Radiohead vibe, and then it was, and I was like, this sucks. This is like too, like, of course they're like going to figure this out to be so good that you're like, this is all I need. This is all I need. No. I don't need to go look for other cool stuff. What if I just sit in my car and I have 12 different algorithms to choose from and everything's perfect? Do you want new songs? Well, these are songs you've never heard of, but they sound like the songs you like. And I'm like, God damn it, you're right. These songs are perfect.
Yes, I do.
I love you. I love you, robot Spotify.
That's so funny. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I have to say I have not engaged as much. Really, the kids are still they run
Yeah.
the algorithms, so I have nothing on
Your
on them.
algorithm has a lot of like skibbity toilet songs and
Yes, yeah,
and like
cat
fart songs
memes. Oh,
and
it's
like
tough.
Lila Poop, Randy Poop songs. Do
Yes.
you know that guy?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, those are
The
great.
poop guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've gone down that rabbit hole.
That
Yeah.
guy he figured out the algorithm perfectly. I wonder how much money that guy makes.
That guy probably doesn't exist and is actually just a robot that was
He's
created
just
by
an AI.
Spotify. Just has
God.
a thing like, yeah. Well, I don't know if you've seen those stories, but like AI actually does. They prioritize their own in-house robot music over actual artist music because then they don't pay out royalties, and if anything, they just back pay themselves royalties. So they have a way, and they're demonetizing
Like Chill Zone. Like Chill Zone vibe,
that's all
music and
they
stuff.
come up with names of artists. Like there's fake artists that are
God.
all owned. They're just computer programs making music. They're owned by the Spotify people. Sorry
The problem with the person that first came up with that idea and pitched it at a meeting, everyone was just like looking down at their phones during the meeting, and then someone pitched that, and they all just looked up at the same time and went, "Oh yeah. Oh, this makes me feel great. Yeah. I swear to God, I can eat this thing." Yeah.
That's what they said.
That's what they feel. That's exactly what they feel like. My mic sounds pretty good in those, actually.
Yeah, I know, right?
I have to say.
Yeah.
I can't hear myself in my headphones, so I never know what I sound like.
You sound like this.
Piss off Jamie Lee Curtis. Check. Yep, I sound good. I might need a pop. I got a pop screen.
Oh,
maybe I'll bring the pop screen out.
Yeah, there you go. So so when you piss off Jamie Lee Curtis, the peas don't pop as much.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, yeah, I've gotten to the age, right, where I definitely know what my the good old days, stories that our parents would tell us, like,
Yeah.
Go down to the soda shop for a nickel. You could buy a Beatles 45 and get it malted with real malt balls in it. But the brick and mortar mom and pop, real people talking to you about stuff. Cause I think that's what was fun. I loved being the customer doing that, going into record stores and getting recommendations, or even just vibing who the other people were there, or the other patrons, or, the other customers and the people that worked there. And then graduating, this was the like ultimate Gen X thing of like being cool enough to work at the cool video store, the cool record store. Like that was, I could have done nothing else in my life and said I worked at, a cool record store.
Yeah,
that was enough of life experiences to just be cool enough to have gotten paid to do those kinds of things, and just to talk to people. But we'd have customers come in and say, okay, what should I watch? Like, what's cool, what's fun? And then you develop your own sort of rapport with the different people that come in all the time, or just figure out, like, you could kind of eye them up, like, you're this age, you're this thing. I kind of can look at your shoes, figure you out a little bit, read you, like, you've been renting Wes Anderson. What about, Jacques Tati? Like, what about, like, let's go, like, what else? Like, are you familiar with, then you kind of try to backtrace, the influences of what people are like, or what you think is cool. Oh, if you think this is cool, you should really do this. Same thing with like working at like a skate shop, like a mom comes in with $100 or a credit card and says, what board should I get for my son? Then you get to put together the cool board.
Are they into the devil?
Oh my Lord. But yeah, it was so
I got
fun.
the board for you. Yeah.
But
oh man,
but yeah,
I mean,
same with music and all of that stuff. It was always great.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is, and I think it is still happening, and it just might not be. It may not happen in those areas where you're buying things,
sure.
like that we're so used to all of that happening where commerce is happening. It's like, well, right. I'm going to go in to buy stuff, so I need someone to tell me what to buy or whatever. I mean, like our friend's son Tate, who is like playing music and in bands, and is going through the thing where he's now in like 6 different bands, and it's like, and everyone in his band is in 6 different bands, and so they're like, there's this whole kind of hardcore community scene growing in LA, and like I think this summer or coming up, they're like throwing a festival, and at this venue, and it's like 500 people max, but
Oh,
they're
amazing.
trying to get food trucks, and they're trying, and they're like 16, 17, and they're like booking hardcore bands from the East Coast and like all of these things, like doing it for real. And I'm like, oh yeah, everything's fine. Okay.
They're good.
It's like we're going to have less stores, and people are going to buy stuff on Amazon, and then we're all going to realize, like even me, like buying things as a teacher, and I'm like, okay, we have like an Amazon account that has a certain amount in it, and I have my Blick Arts account or whatever, and I'm like, oh, there's a great deal on paintbrushes on Amazon, and I get them, and they're shit. They like fall apart.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, right. Okay. So I now have to go, like, I can get my pencils and erasers and like ink pens, like things that aren't made crappy. And then anything that I need made nice, I still have to go find the good place. I'm like, I can buy the stuff that is like
Disposable.
expendable.
Yeah.
At the cheap, crappy place. Like, it's basically Amazon is like the 99-cent store, kind of, for most
Except everything
stuff.
costs $10 instead of
Yeah.
the thing
It's the $9 store.
Yeah, exactly.
And then but then just realizing that, and then also just realizing like, I guess we probably should just buy less stuff. Like I do have a house full of stuff that I don't need almost any of it. Like I was literally going through looking for, I told you I have like that secondary mic that I've had for years, and it's still in like the little case, like a little black case. And I was looking for it today, and I'm like, I mean, there's no way I threw it out. Where is it? I was like, I have not had that much money in my life to buy all of this stuff. I don't know where it came from. It's like 25 years of buying a couple things a year. Mm-hmm. And you realize that's like, okay, that's like hundreds of things.
Yeah. There's now officially too much stuff, and I don't know what anything is.
And I'm like, open up a box, and it's all broken camera flashes. Like, why do I have these? And I've another box
because you could fix them. You could fix them one day.
Yeah. Well, you never know. And I was like, maybe the batteries
really
are
broken. Yeah, exactly. You just shake it.
And then another thing is like, it's like lights, like that you can turn from, like you have like a little controller, and you can turn them red, green, blue, but they're like little tiny lights that go. And I'm like, when did I even get these? And why aren't they but my photo stuff? And also, like, maybe I don't need an Amazon account because I keep buying horrible shit that I had, like little things that I probably scrolled through and went, does that say $12? I could use some color changing little light bulbs for $12. That's probably good. And I probably used them for 2 seconds and then went, yeah, what do I need these for? I don't know. Honestly, I probably used those in that video I shot of yours.
Yeah.
No, so they probably were useful, actually.
Yeah, we need
now that I think about it, all those light changing.
Yeah. Well, there's aspirational purchases sometimes. Like, if I get this, then that means I'm going to make the thing, or I'm going to do the thing.
Right.
If I get these running shoes, then I'll go running.
Yeah.
Like, wait, if I
get the
gym
membership.
Yeah. If I get these shorts, no, I can't run because I don't have good shorts.
Yeah.
I need good socks. And then you get the whole thing like, I still don't want to go running. If I got a water bottle, that's a cool water bottle. Still not going to go running.
Well, at least I have comfy socks and a water bottle to sit on my desk.
Yeah, you walk around looking like you go to the gym, but you don't really go to the gym.
Yeah, I think I do. Maybe I need to set up my Amazon so it only shows me things that are above $50.
Oh.
Maybe I should do that. It's like, don't show me anything under $50 unless it's like art or like supplies, like tape. Like if I'm looking for something that doesn't exist that's above $50
worth of tape.
But I was just looking for like a microphone, something.
Oh, yeah.
And you see a bunch and you're like, $30. Okay. It's like a thing. And
we talked about
but
this.
my brain,
you have to know the gear enough or whatever it is, the tools.
But my brain instantly goes into saving mode, and I go, oh, I found a deal. I love a deal. I'll drive, like I've told you, I know where all my gas stations are that are like 12 cents cheaper than the other ones.
Absolutely.
And even like I do the math, and I'm like, okay, every time I come to this gas station, fill up my whole car, I I saved $2 and like 80 cents or $3.
But the amount of gas you spend to go to out of your way to go to that gas station.
But or the amount of time that I've figured out to like try to pinpoint, like, okay, if I'm at a quarter of a tank by this point, then I'll always stop at this gas station because it just makes me feel better. Like I feel like I'm like getting one over on the man.
Yeah, it's the little things.
This is like victories. $2, and I'm like, if I do this 100 times, that's $200, and I'm like, that's also like $20,000 worth of gas.
Yeah, but it's also the gas station that you go inside. You're like, well, I should get a drink. They do have that good coffee drink, or they do have that deal. They got that soda. Oh, wait, there's a deal on the soda. If I buy 2 sodas, it's $5. So $3 for the 1 soda. Wait, they have car wash. I could save even more money.
Oh my god!
If I buy a $10 car wash, then they knocked 5 cents off per gallon. Are you kidding me?
Per gallon.
Yeah, I just spent $14 more coming to this gas station where I saved $2.
I have to drive 20 more miles so I can get my tank just a little bit lower. So my 35 cents, 3 cents a gallon makes up for the
loss leader. That's term loss leader. It's the thing they do where they lose money. They have one item or one service or one thing that is designed to actually be so cheap that they are going to lose money for it. But by losing the $2 on whatever it is, the Costco hot dog, the $1.50 hot dog soda.
Yeah. They
don't make money on it. Most of the Costco, even, all of their whole thing's built on that. Like they were ahead of the curve because they're what I've been told, I guess, the profits the margins are so small on everything they sell. That's why things so cheap. Yeah. They don't really have a huge markup, but it's the $100 subscription, the $100 membership fee is where they make all their money. You have millions of people spending $100 on nothing. Yeah. And that's all profit. So that, if they're only making whatever it is, 15, 20, 5% markup on all that other stuff, that they got you in there, you're going to renew it and keep renewing it. And Amazon does it. And, all the streaming things, they all sort of took the Costco model. They call it like the Amazon model, the subscription model, but really it was the Costco model before that. They knew what they were doing. Wow. But again, you can, so you again, what are they, you got to spend money to make money. You got to lose money to make money. And that's all
that's
of that.
The Arco. That's the Arco thing. It's the genius. That's why I love Arco so much.
Plus 35 cents.
Plus 35 cents, which is fine because when you do the math, it's like, okay, well, if I'm doing 10 gallons.
And then,
if I'm doing 10 gallons, that's 3.5 cents per gallon. That's good. I'm still way below.
Yep.
And then
gulp is only 79 cents.
As long as I don't go in, and buy a candy bar, because the candy bars are $1 more expensive there than anywhere else. And so as long as I don't have as long as I'm not feeling a total sugar crash when I pull up to Arco, I'm good. Yeah. But the second I pull up and go, I could use it. I could use a little snack on the way home.
Some little caffeine, a little something.
And I'm like, I lost my $3. Okay, I still made $1. I still made $1. But I lost 25. I lost 25 minutes because I had to sit in line because so many people are here. The time quotient factor.
I mean, that was definitely one thing I would do on tours. I would buy like a 12 case of soda.
Yeah.
Just because I knew, like, if I was buying the one bottle at a time, it's not going to work. So just keep a little bag of snacks, like to buy the big rolled gold and just always have that on the tour. And, next between the two chairs, got to be driving forever. And like, okay, I'd feel good. Like, this is a 50-cent soda. This is not a $4.50 soda. It's only 50 cents. All right, I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, and don't even get me started on bottled water.
Oh, don't get me started.
And because I'm now to the point to where, and I really do my best not to buy bottled water, but even if I do, I'm like, okay, I'm going to the grocery store and I'm getting a gallon of water, because a gallon of water is $1.40, right? $1.50. Nice. And a bottle of water is $2.50. Get out of here. You put that in your
did your pipe and smoke it.
Put that in your
SoundCloud.
No, what do you got? Your soundboard.
Like?
Put that in your soundboard. Yeah. Get out of here, bottled water. I swear to God, I can eat this thing. Yeah, I wish I could get there. You're always going to be cute, but you'll never win.
Yes, exactly.
This is what I feel about both of us.
I feel like that was such a good sentiment to put into the soundboard. I was like, that sums up so many of the things we're talking about. Like, you'll always be cute, but you'll never win.
That's like those times where you're in a situation. You ever feel like you're in a situation and mentally or verbally someone's like patting you on the head?
Every day. I'm married. What are you talking about?
But when you're just like talking to someone and everything, and you feel you're just like, oh, you're like patting me on the head and going,
yeah, I'm not listening to you.
You know what?
Poor guy.
That is so cute. Like what you're like, oh my God, if we all just thought that, like it would be so nice. Anyway. How I feel so many times. Yeah. No, I'm looking like I'm
children and a wife. Nobody wants to hear what I'm saying. I feel like that's 99% of podcasts are created by people whose everyone else in their life doesn't want to listen to them. Like, okay, well, here's the podcast. Here's that for you.
Yeah. Or I'm just talking and I'm like, why do they look like they're deer in the headlights? And I'm like, oh, because I'm talking. Fair enough.
Yep.
That's when I'm like, oh yeah, guys, God, sorry, I got to get back to that thing. And I'm like, oh. I'm going to get them out of this conversation they've been trying to get out of for way more minutes than I've realized.
Oh, it happens to me all the time. But I feel like that, but it's the thing too where I'm still like, I can't believe it. Like, how do you not want to hear this information?
Yeah.
I have so much information.
You didn't know that about Beatles? Like that they, like you get really into something. Someone like, I just watched this thing, and then you watch their eyes glaze over, and you go, "Oh shit, I did it again." Yeah. Okay.
No, I try to have a preamble before I get too excited about anything. You know, when I talk to my wife, like, so there's more to this story, or I could talk more about this. I try to give her the out, but in general, I try to give people in real life, hopefully, the out before I say more. Because it's happened too many times where I realize, oh yeah, no one else is excited about this, and they don't need to be excited about it. No, I'm allowed to be excited about all the dumb stuff that I think about all the time.
Yeah,
but it happens regularly.
Yeah, that's why we can talk to each other for an hour about nothing. That's nothing. No plans, nothing. And we can just sit here and chat it up.
We found the correct outlet. No, I was working with a friend doing some music stuff, and she said to me, she's like, "You should have a podcast." And that hurt. I took that personally. I looked and sounded like somebody who should have a podcast.
Like instead of talking to you right now, you mean?
That should be that's the best insult you can give somebody. Like, hey, do you have a podcast? You sound like somebody who should have a podcast. You should really think about getting a podcast. Like, you're not wrong, but God, that hurts.
Instead of talking to me right now, you should be talking into a computer. I'm just saying.
You should really save that for the podcast. I love it. I love what you're saying, but you know what? Right now, I think this is better for the podcast. Just go ahead and hold on to that idea. I'll download it later. I'll download that conversation you're about to have with me, or that diatribe of you just talking at me for the next 20 minutes. Just save it. I'll download it and I'll give it a thumbs up.
She's basically saying, I would love to fast forward through this.
Yes, right now. Yeah. Is there like a forward 10-second button here? Can I get to the commercials? Because this is really not for me. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a thumbs down.
Oh,
which no one should do. Everyone, if you've made it this far,
thumbs up.
Thumbs up. 5 stars. Tell your friends. Write a review.
Start a podcast.
Yeah, because remember,
send us a link. You're always going to be cute, but you'll never win.
We have a subtitle to the Hyphenate halftime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I did listen to last week's, and I have heard the beginning song.
Oh,
I have heard the opening song. I did recognize it.
Oh, good.
I was like, oh yeah, I've heard this song before.
It's
of course.
No, I mean, I do a little QC kind of pop around just to make sure. I try to check levels against other podcasts too, just to make sure I'm not too high.
Yeah.
That I don't burn things out or have too much bass or not enough bass. I'm constantly like playing with that variance in there. For this, I mix and master all these things after we get done, and so I'm like, I think we're somewhere in the area. I have a great story about that song, the theme song for the podcast, but I'm going to save it for the next podcast.
Oh,
make sure you tune in next week.
Can't wait to hear it.
Where I will go on a rant about the song that begins and ends each halftime episode.
Oh yeah, and May the 4th. May the 4th be with you yesterday. I guess it was yesterday.
Yeah, I What did I say? I saw a great meme today that was like somebody in Spock, the cosplay, just flipping everybody off. Like, this is how I feel when people say May the 4th. I feel there's a bit of a pushback as an old Star Wars head.
Yeah.
Where just May 4th feels a little patronizing, and but they said everyone knows May 25th is the real Star Wars day, before Disney got their claws in it and just made a day out of a pun of May the 4th.
Oh, wow.
May 25th was the original for a New Hope or Star Wars.
Oh, really?
That was the premiere date.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I celebrate. I'm more orthodox on the in the Star Wars belief. Or some other great memes where like everyone's saying May the 4th, like that's my culture is not your costume. You can't just put it on once a year and just expect to get,
Oh my God.
expect to get accolades from me.
I love it so much. Did you
live and die?
Speaking of, if we want to keep this political, did you see that the White House posted like a May the 4th thing, and it's like Trump with
looking like Jabba the Hutt,
lightsaber,
holding the Statue of Liberty like the
No, he's like
Leia.
got muscles, and he's like bringing the Force back or whatever.
Oh Lord!
But then everyone's like, he has a red lightsaber. That's the bad guys. It's the Sith.
Maybe he did get it right. Maybe
he did.
Those are those forms of the things, like you're saying, though. You have to hire somebody to do this. Like any nerd or Photoshop or AI person
would know that
he hired,
right?
Would put in maybe the jab and like, okay, I have to get this job because I can't afford to get fired. However, the malicious compliance, you can still go along with it. Like,
I like it.
If you're forced to work for an evil empire, which again is a big plot point coming up in this second season of Andor.
Okay.
For anybody interested out there. So I think some of the best new Star Wars media out there, this Tony Gilroy, espionage, thriller, spy, down and dirty is great.
This is the new one?
Yeah. Have you seen Andor season 1?
No.
Beautiful. So the best.
Is it on Disney Plus?
Of course.
Yeah.
Everything's there. Yeah. That's there's a lot of like the splitting of hairs or grains of salt, with like the shows about evil empires that you have to watch on an evil empire device.
They're just kind of going
on an evil empire media server.
They're going yeah. No, look over there.
The other evil empire, those guys.
Not us. Yeah. We're like the good Amazon.
I have conceded to an understanding that all sides think they are the rebels and the heroes. You know what I mean? January 6th.
Totally.
Those guys thought they were a bunch of fucking Han Solos running around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you could these stories, they're vague enough to really, you could spin them any way you want to spin them. It's just a story. It's just a fable. It's a fairy tale, and everybody thinks they're the good guys and they're rebelling against the evil something else.
Yes.
So it's not our fault. They're not inherently one-sided.
Yeah.
Other than the idea of the, framing discourse around anything based on aliens and bullshit for kids is infantilizing any kind of real dialogue and distractions.
Yeah.
Bread and circus. While everything's being demolished, we can debate whose cape is shinier, Batman's or
as we're all falling down a pit of despair.
I often try to keep that front in my mind as I disassociate and give into brain rot. That this is my only form of rebellion and respite in an evil, unjust world.
Hey, what are you going to do? That's what I'm saying. You're always going to be cute, but you'll never win. Yeah.
It's the message of Star Wars, too.
There we go.
Yeah.
The theme to the show.
Right. There it is. Always remember that. And also, these things don't just happen.
Piss off Jamie Lee Curtis. Check.
I love the soundboard. There we go. It's like we have a third host. It's just the evil version.
I can't wait till it grows.
I need to put more time on it. I don't know how this week's going to go. We'll see. I had a little time from hand surgery to go through and chop out some random parts. But at some point, it's like fast forward a year from now or a month from now, and it's all just the soundboard. We don't even have to say anything anymore.
Yeah. I mean, you add 2 or 3 every week.
That could be it. I got to figure out how to get you access to the soundboard. We both soundboard wars each other.
I mean, I guess I could just
load up.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. More will be revealed.
We need some tech bros.
No, Lord, no, please. No, we do not need more. That's the next slice. There we go. We need more tech bros. All right.
Sorry, Gary, that was a bad idea. I tried to push it.
All right. See you next week.
All right, see you.